One of the complaints that I get, moderately often, I've tried to kind of head it off a little bit, but one of the complaints that I get is I can't start a food forest. I can't start a food forest. I can't grow a food forest. And there's a whole variety of excuses for this, right? So there's excuses like I don't have any land. And that's a pretty good one. There's excuses like I don't have enough space. I wish I had space. You know what the worst is? The worst about some of these complaints are that people are looking for some magical time in the future in which they're going to have everything perfect in order to do what they want. And with the mindset that they have, that magical time in the future is never going to happen. It's that well, if I were lucky enough to have a house, if I were lucky enough to have some land, if I were lucky enough to meet someone like your wife, you know, I've heard these things over and over again because you're exposed to a lot of different people, obviously, when you have a YouTube channel. Most of them are great people. Some of them are real creepy people. But there's a lot of normal people that are just sort of struggling and muddling along who just come by and they wing a comment out there, and it makes you wonder, you know, I wish I could just change their mindset a little bit, because I think what they're doing is they're looking at external problems when they should be looking at internal problems. So what do I mean by this? My life is not good because my boss. My wife is not good because my mom. My life is not good because of the government, because of my parents, because I wasn't born rich, because I'm short, you know, that kind of thing. There's a lot of those externals, and often we blame things on externals. We blame things on externals. I'm too old, I'm too young, I'm too dumb, you know, or I'm too smart for that. We get that too, but generally it's the reason a lot of people are failing is because they are just sabotaging themselves right from the beginning with negatives. Negative, negative, negative. Well, if I was lucky like you, I could have done such and such. Or people have told me, yeah, well, if I had your genes, you know, you're just lucky. You're just lucky to have your genes because that's why you're not heavy. You know, I wouldn't be fat if I had your genes. I'm like, do you know what I eat? Do you know how minimal I am in my eating? Deliberately. I know what it's like to gain weight easily. There was a time in my late 20s that I was gaining weight and I had a gut. I was not healthy. I was working office work and I couldn't figure out how to get rid of it, and I had to change my diet, and I just didn't go back to the normal diet. And I don't often eat the dessert when there's dessert at the table because it doesn't make me feel very well. It doesn't make me a better person to eat a slice of cake with mono and diglycerides frosting on it. It's basically like eating plastic with white sugar in it. I don't want that. It's nasty. I don't feel good when I eat it. I don't care. I don't like sugar that much. But I've had to train myself not to like sugar. To drink unsweetened. You drink unsweetened tea instead of sweet tea. I drink black coffee. I don't drink, you know, sweet, fruity cocktails. You know, the combination of alcohol and sugar together is just bleh for you. I don't drink very much alcohol. I try to keep things really moderate on purpose because my goal is to be healthy and I don't want to be heavy. And I want to be there for my kids and I want to still be functional as I get older, etc. My teeth are really good. They're not perfectly straight, but they're really good. But I brush my teeth and I don't eat sugar and I don't drink soda. I when I came back to the United States after having been out of the States for quite a while, multiple years, I went back and I had a Mountain Dew and 2 burritos at Taco Bell so I could just celebrate being American again. But I didn't go back and do that again. And I don't do that every day. I don't even do that really, maybe once in a year. Just because. It reminds me of being in college. Yeah, I don't eat the sweet tea. I just don't drink sweet tea. It's too much sugar for me. It's a horrible amount of sugar. It's like 6 cups per gallon or something like that. And some people make it with 8 cups per gallon. Oh, I feel horrible when I eat it too, or drink it too. You get used to not having sugar, and then you have some sugar, and you feel like, oh, I'm just gonna collapse, you know. But all that aside, a food forest, right? I can't do it because of this. I can't do it because of that, or I don't have the money to plan it out, or I'm not sure what I'm doing, or it seems like so and so says to do this, and then so and so says to do this, and I don't know what the deal is. I'm not sure what to do. It's external problems. Not exactly knowing what to do is a problem that you can fix internally, and you can also fix it by educating yourself a little bit. And now there's of course a risk with education too, in that you could look at a whole bunch of different ways to do it and then say, I have no idea which way to do it. And humans by nature often do not want to make decisions. We want somebody else to make decisions for us. This is really true. Let's just ask everybody what they think. Let's just get the group together and see what everybody says. And, you're kind of absolving yourself from making a decision. I just don't want to make the decision necessarily. I'll see what my spouse says. I'll see what the kids want to do. I'll see what my buddy wants to do, etc. So we don't exercise the decision, because if you make a decision, you have to bear the consequences of the decision. What if you don't get it quite right? We don't really want to make the decision because we might not get it quite right. But guess what? In not making a decision, you're making a decision. You're making a decision to sit on the fence. And as it's been said, you have to make a decision to follow God, right? And some people just sit on the fence, but the old saying is, well, the devil owns the fence. It is a decision. It's just a decision via indecision. The decision is being made for you by time, and you're missing your opportunity to do something. So, I've decided to not make a decision. So when you're looking at food forests, I see people's yards and I see people's desires sometimes, and sometimes my job is just to say go ahead and do it, because there were times where I just wasn't really sure what I wanted to do or how to do it or whatever, but I'm impetuous enough to get out a shovel and start sticking stuff in the ground and see what happens. And I mean, what's going to go wrong? What could really go wrong? What's the worst thing that could happen if you went out there and you just started planting plants? I mean, I guess you could hit the electric line. That would be bad. Once I cut through a phone line. Remember back when we had phone lines running to our houses? Cut through a phone line. Yep. Modem didn't work anymore. But you could plant too close, I guess. You could maybe plant at the wrong time and something dies. But you only have a limited amount of time in your life anyways, right? So, those things, I mean, you're never going to get anything right the first time, either. And one of the things I learned while living overseas, where there were very few resources, there wasn't even a lot of internet connectivity, there was almost no reading beyond street signs, that sort of thing. The farmers and the homeowners weren't confused by a whole bunch of theory. They weren't really held back by all that. If they had a tree and they wanted to plant it, they planted it. And they would tell somebody, oh no, I think it gets so big, I think I'm going to plant it so far. And they would just plant something. And sometimes they planted them too close, and sometimes they planted them further away. And sometimes the goats ate them. But there were beautiful food forest type gardens that just happened because they wanted to plant a breadfruit. They wanted to plant a patch of cassava, manioc. They wanted to plant some sugar cane. And they just planted these things where they had patches and open areas. And they planted them and they grew. They didn't say, wait until I get my landscape designer here. So that's not a very good excuse not to start, because you might screw up. Yeah, sure, you're going to screw up. So, well, look at this shirt. Most of life's problems can be solved with a chainsaw. It's one of my favorite shirts that we ever made, by the way. That is one of my favorite shirts. A friend of mine drew the graphic on it. Here, I'm gonna drop that. That is this shirt, and it is in the gray and the construction orange. I really like it. But yeah, you get kind of hung up, like, what if you planted too close? Well, just prune some of it out. Or like Carl says in the comments, you can always unplant a plant too. If you don't like it, take it out, give it away. Atlanta Gardner says, in psychology we call that pre-contemplation. Feet and Liberty says, one day I might consider thinking about planning to start a food forest. I'm sorry, some passive tenses have been detected in this paragraph. Carl says, $5 in seeds can make hundreds of dollars in saleable plants. Carl quotes Neil Peart from Rush, if you choose not to decide, you still have made a choice. Yeah, exactly. It's pretty funny, huh? Hey, happy 25th anniversary, Rosa. God bless you. What a blessing. 25 years. That's an accomplishment. Here's the 25 more. So, if you look at it, what's holding you back, right? So that's it. I don't have land. There's a good one. I don't have land. Could you borrow land? Could you assist with somebody else's food forest project? Could you set one up at your church? Bet you there's something, right? It's probably something. Someplace where you can go and meet that desire, even if it's not ideal. But this is not an ideal world. We don't always get what we want. We don't always have what we want. And another problem too is that if we think that we're never going to have land and we're never going to get a homestead and it's never going to work, guess what your brain does to you? It sabotages you. If you want to ask a girl out on a date and you start by thinking she'll never say yes, it's never going to happen, there's no way, she's way out of my league, and then you go up and you're like, would you go out with me? Please? No, she won't. And then you'll say, I knew it. I knew it. She's way out of my league. Right? If you've already got it in your head that you're going to fail, well, guess what? Your brain will just go along with it. As some people like to say, the universe will keep it from you or give it to you, depending on how you set your mind. And you should keep your goals high and keep that desire and stay positive about it, and you never know what's going to happen. I've had people say, you can't survive as an artist. Well, it may be getting harder, especially when ChatGPT can just draw pictures, But there's almost always an opportunity. If you are excited about something, you can get other people excited about it too. People want to support you. But if you come in thinking you're already going to fail, if you went on Shark Tank and you had an idea that you were pretty sure was going to fail, and your whole idea is like, this thing's just not going to work and I know it, it's going to be ridiculous. They're going to kick you right out of there. You probably won't even get to the point where, they're talking to you about it. you have to have that confidence that, yeah, I could do it. I could grow a food forest. I just need the place, and I'm gonna get the place. I'm just gonna keep talking to people and figure out what happens. And you know, your first attempt doesn't have to be your last attempt too. If you manage to borrow a piece of land and plant a food forest, like I recommend planting a food forest in some place where it's going to continue, not just randomly at a place that you're renting or something, but in some family land, maybe at a church. Maybe you can get a school, a library. If you're excited about it and you've got a nice, cool plan that you're thinking up, we could do this and this and this and this. Yeah, you'll probably figure it out. You'll probably figure it out. It'll just happen, right? Exactly. Charles said, change your attitude. You're already out with her. Just walk up and talk. Talk up. Have fun. It's funny. My wife was watching me at one of the plant shows, and I was talking to somebody, and she said, "Did you know that lady?" I said, "No, I just met her." She said, "You were talking to her like she was an old friend of yours." And I said, I guess I was. I just kind of feel like it's another gardener. Here's another gardener I could talk to about things that I'm excited about. And you'll find that people come out of their shells so fast when you just are positive and you've got something cool to share, and they start to get excited about it. Next thing you know, they're encouraging you on towards it. But alternately, if somebody says that's a dumb idea and you're never going to make it and you're a loser and you've always been a loser, just like your father, right? If it starts from that attitude, then you're really going to have to keep internal strength in order to get through that, right? You know, you're going to have to maybe look beyond that person, and of course you have an infinite reservoir if you tap into what God has given you as well. But you've got to remember too that if you're basing it on externals, like somebody encouraging you and then you feel like you can do it, or somebody discourages you and you feel like you can't do it, you're still being inconstant. You have to want it. You have to want it, and you want to just stay with it, right? So you're gonna do it. I'm gonna plant a food forest. You know what? I want to be able to start planting a food forest by fall. By October 31st, I want to have put a tree in the ground in a food forest. Picture yourself planting a food forest, and then you just are going to. You're just gonna do it. It's gonna happen sometime by this fall. Even if somebody that you're friends with just wants an orchard in his backyard to provide some fruit for the kids as the kids grow up. Something like that. Come on, you can do it, right? Just roll. Just roll. So how do you get around no land? You could probably borrow some land. You could plant on somebody else's land. You can volunteer. You can help with somebody else's food forest project. Get excited. Get involved. Look up everybody that's doing food forests or anything else. You can find people and visit them. People have invited me to their yards. I've gone and helped in other people's food forests. It's fun. There's an opportunity out there. Go join somebody else and support them. Things will come your way, right? So you can be growing a food forest. Secondarily, what if you don't have money? Again, you can volunteer. And if you do have land already, or access to land, you could start a whole food forest from seeds, cutting, grafting, air layering. There's all kinds of ways to start growing. It doesn't have to be this crazy, expensive thing where you're going to go spend $2,000 at a plant nursery. A lot of times people that are wealthier have more money than time. So if you see projects where people are just doing this full food forest install and they seem to just have everything they need to do it. They got an earth mover out there. They've got tons and tons of sheets of cardboard lined up. They've got piles and piles of mulch. They've got piles of compost. They have a whole bunch of trees dropped off there for them to plant. They probably have more money than time, and they just want to do this thing, right? So they throw money at it. But if you don't have money, you got to use your brain and make your own trees. You could start 100 fig cuttings in an afternoon, and chances are at least 50% of them are going to start, even if you bungle it. What are 50 trees worth? If you went and bought 50 figs, let's say they're $16 a piece for a fig in a little, you know, small fig in a pot. You made 50 in an afternoon. Think of it that way. Nature is incredibly abundant. Even if you have to wait some time for your trees, you can buy a watermelon that has seeds in it by the side of the road. Make little hills around the little cuttings that you've started, and you can start growing watermelons. You could be getting fruit in 100 days. Right? You can grow a food forest. Sometimes it's just a matter of changing your mind on it and getting some encouragement and just rolling. And the more you add to your knowledge, the easier it is going to work out for you as well. If you deliberately hang out with encouraging people, if you deliberately seek out inspiration and just keep it in your mind and keep thinking about it and seeing how other people have done it, how other people have screwed up, how other people have succeeded, and you just take those wins. You don't have to have as much money as them. It doesn't have to be exactly the same climate. Oh, I can't grow that tree. I wish I could grow that tree. Well, grow what you can grow. Yeah, just start going, man. Just start planting stuff. Every time you go to a, dinner party or something, people are always eating fruit, throwing seeds in the trash. When they're preparing the fruit salad, throwing away a pineapple top, throwing away an avocado pit. Hey, that's a food forest you just threw away there. Just get started, man. So, with that in mind, I also wanted to tell you, some of you have been to Scrubfest. How many of you guys have been to Scrubfest before? I know some of you, I recognize some names here. I know some of you guys have been to Scrubfest. How many of you have been to Scrubfest, the food forest event? Okay, Alex. Alex has been there. All right, anybody else? Anybody else been to Scrubfest? Scrubfest, yeah, Steve's been there. Atlanta gardener joined school. You can learn from my mistakes. Matt would love to go to Scrubfest. Okay. Coy, I don't know why you haven't been there yet. You've been on my channel for like 10 years. Leo Miranda. Oh, yeah, Leo Miranda Castro. Very, very intelligent friend of mine. Very good gardener. He has been there. He's been there multiple times, along with his beautiful wife. So, Scrubfest is Florida's big food forest event. And this is something that Sam from Scrubland Farms, which is a really cool permaculture food forest nursery in North Florida, he and I worked this out 4 years ago. Almost 5 years ago, we started planning this idea, and then we did the first one. And the amount of energy that it generated, and the amount of cool plants that were there, and the speakers that showed up, it's a blast. It's a ton of excitement. And another thing that we did right from the beginning was, because children are the future, and children are also expensive to care for, is we didn't want anybody to have a barrier and say, I've got 3 kids, I just can't afford to do an event like this. So we charge for admission, but that's an adult ticket. And the kids all get in for free. But along with the adult ticket, you also get all the access to all the rare plants and stuff that are only really accessible at an event like this. So if you're looking for the rare, weird stuff that gets talked about, and a lot of different varieties of fruit trees, etc., both Sam and I we source a bunch of stuff, and we basically like do a deep dive into the nurseries and put things out for sale that you normally don't get. So for example, I brought a coffee that was just ready to bloom and start fruiting. It's probably about 4 years old in a pot. And I only had a couple in my nursery that were that big. And I said, you know what? This one's just going with me. So, that sort of thing. And I also bring cuttings and stuff that we don't, some of this stuff is hard to ship and keep alive, but we always have some cool stuff. So, that event in particular is one of those big inspiration type of events, and we planned it in the fall on purpose because fall is kind of coming into the best time to plant, but it's actually close enough to Georgia and even to Alabama. It's not even that far if you come down from South Carolina or the edge of Knoxville area, Tennessee, etc. It's a drive, but it's a worth it kind of a drive because I talk there and I do some in-depth presentations, and we also get to just kind of hang out together a lot and talk, which is fun. I've got my booth there. We've got the books and T-shirts and all that stuff, but I'm always signing books and hanging out with people and getting to meet a lot of people that I normally. When I'm doing this and I'm looking at the screen and I know everybody by icons, right? Like there'll be some guy, his icon is a frog or something, and I'm going, and it'll be like, you remember me? It's Tim. And I'm like, Tim the frog? No way. Some of you I've interacted with for, how long? 12 years, 13 years? Some of you have just stuck around for such a long time, so it's one of those things that's pretty cool. Also, if you are in my school group, those that are in the school group, the admission is free if you were in my school group at the time of Scrubfest. But it's a commitment to join school. I mean, you get all the courses and everything like that, but I know everybody's trying to doge their finances right now, but knowing that if somebody's my member over there, I want it to be worth it. So I just said this year, if you're over there in the group, there's a section over there where you can just put your name in that you are going to be at Scrubfest, and if you're a current member at the time of Scrubfest, I'm just gonna give those names to the people at the front. So beyond that, we've got all kinds of we've got a bunch of different speakers. We've got Elise Pickett. Elise Pickett does the urban harvest. She is a really inspiring gardener. And then we've got Stan DeFreitas, Mr. Green Thumb, who wrote the OG Florida gardening book, which is still on my shelf. Stan DeFreitas is fantastic. He inspired me when I was a kid to garden, and he's still around, and he has agreed to come and speak, so this is really exciting. He doesn't really do a lot of public appearances now. He used to be on the radio all the time, but he has a consulting firm now, and he has a YouTube channel. Actually, he has a good YouTube channel. He covers a lot, everything from ornamental gardening to food gardening, and is very funny. So Stan's going to be there. And Tim Armstrong. Do any of you guys know Eat Your Yard Jacks? Anybody know that Eat Your Yard Jacksonville? That's a great group. A great group. So Tim is going to be speaking. And this isn't about, competition. I have a nursery. Tim has a nursery. Sam has a nursery. We join all this stuff together and we sell plants all at the same time, because there's more synergy that happens when all of you get together and put an event on than if you're like, well, this is my thing. You have your thing over there in Jacksonville. I'll have my thing over here in Lower Alabama, and Sam can have his thing over there in Fort McCoy, and we're all in competition with each other, and we're looking at each other sideways. Instead, the idea is we just get a bunch of people together, we get a whole ton of plants together, and we do an inspiring food forest event. And the main focus is on food forests and on, there's some on healthy living, like Shanna Alverson. Shanna Alverson was the CrossFit champion for powerlifting in Berlin. She is she won the CrossFit championship. She's an extremely fit woman, and she's also a really good singer. So she's been one of the most entertaining speakers. I was afraid, it's like I don't want to get in a fight with her, so I just let her do whatever she wants. But she has inspired a lot of people, so she's going to be talking about food over pharma. We will have this year, too, this is cool. We got permission this time to be able to do a plant swap. So if you're looking for rare plants and you want to participate in the swap, there's going to be an active seed plant swap table. We haven't done that the last 3 years because we were a little nervous about if the inspections on the nursery are going to be a problem, if somebody brought something that they're not supposed to have or whatever. But because there's no money exchanging hands and it's just free and voluntary association, man, we figured out we could do a plant swap. So people are going to be trading plants there too. So if you bought tickets and you came, you're going to get the education of being at Scrubfest, which is worth way more than the price of entry. You also get all the rare plants, which are totally worth the price of admission. It's like going to Costco and paying your little card fee to get in there. And then there's the plant swap, which if you get one cool plant that you've been looking for, hey, what's that worth? Plus the kids get in for free. So anyhow, that's my pitch. That's my pitch for Scrubfest. You should simply go and sign up for Scrubfest. It is October 11th. I want to meet everybody there. I want to see everybody there. I always get super pumped up and really enjoy it. And I always go early and I shop Sam's nursery too because he's got all kinds of stuff. So anyhow, that's going to be a great event, and I put a link to it too. There's a link at the top of the chat. I'll put a link below this video for those of you that are watching later. Please go sign up for Scrubfest. It is worth it. And if you are signed up, Sam told me that if you're signed up before the beginning of August, because he's trying to pre-count how many people show up, if you sign up before August, you get $100. You get entered into a drawing for $100 plants, books, or whatever. So you get entered into the drawing. Now, I don't know how many people are going to sign up and your chances might be 1 in 100, but your chances might be 1 in 7. I don't know. So it's kind of like, let's sweeten the pot. There's potential. There could be $100 floating out there for you. But yeah, it's funny. I don't know. I don't think I could ever win the lottery. I don't have that kind of luck. But I really don't have any problem spending money on education. I buy books. I pay people for courses. If there's information that I need, I just go ahead and do it, because one of the best investments you can make is your brain, your knowledge, because that can't be taken away from you. So back to anybody growing a food forest. Wait, here's a little intermission. So be sure to sign up for Scrubfest. There's a link in the chat. Thank you for being with us for Sounds of the Night. And now we return to our regularly scheduled programming. Yes, Scrubfest is one day only. It is October 11th. It is a Saturday from morning till evening, and this time I'm going to play a set of music live too. I just have to. I keep forgetting to bring the guitar with me, but this time I'm going to play a set. It'll be fun. All right, so let's continue. Anyone can grow a food forest. So we've learned so far, a lot of it is mindset. A lot of it is mindset. Focus on what you want. Focus on getting there. Let your brain sort of fill in the details. Volunteer to help other people. Be positive. Church. Planting an orchard with somebody. Volunteering at a project. Volunteering. Maybe tuck the library into planting a little food forest system. There's got to be something, right? At least something you can do right now. Even if You got to live somewhere, right? Even if you got some big pots and some smaller pots and you arranged a little plant guild, a little food forest island in containers on a patio, and you get a handful of fruit and you get a handful of vegetables, and you've got a start, right? And now you don't need a lot of money either. You remember you could start things, cuttings, air layering, division, seeds, grafting. You can learn how to grow just about anything. So that doesn't have to get in your way. But one of the things that does get in people's way, that I keep coming back to, is that analysis paralysis. So what you need to do is get out there and plant something. Do something. Don't worry if it's wrong. Remember, most of life's problems can be solved with a chainsaw. If you make a big mistake, you can always cut it down with a chainsaw. Who cares? So, it's so hard to... It's so hard to get inside of the mind of somebody that will look at their plants for 2 years and not plant them. You just gotta like drive them out there in the yard and grab a plant and dig a hole and shove it in the ground in front of that person and say,
keep doing this. Keep doing this now. You do this, you get food. See? Put in ground, get food. You can do. Do it. Do it now.
Right? It's not actually that hard. You just start sticking stuff in the ground. Like literally illiterate people do this. It's not a big deal. Just go. Put one tree in the ground. Pace off roughly how far you think the next tree needs to go. You know, if the canopy, you think the canopy is going to be really huge, right? You know, I got to put them 40 feet apart or something. You just go and you pace off 13 paces. Oh no, it was 30. Maybe that was 39 feet. Don't worry about it. Do you think the forest works that way? Drop something in the ground. Drop something in the ground 39 feet away. If you make it to 25 feet or if it goes to 60 feet, really, it's not going to matter that much. My goodness. It doesn't have to be neurotically perfect. You know, if you plant 2 fruit trees right next to each other, they will still fruit. You just don't get the maximum fruit. It's not like it's not this like, oh shoot, oh it's not going to work. You know, yeah, if you plant a bunch of stuff close together, what could happen is that they could overgrow each other, and then you end up with a dark canopy, but then you just get in there with a chainsaw and you start cutting some holes out of it, right? Not a big deal. Not a big deal. I want to say thank you to CJ Shake for the £1.99. Thank you, David, for being so inspiring. Thank you for thanking me. That's really kind of you. Thank you for the super chat. It's much appreciated. And thank you, Atlanta Gardner, who sends a $4.99 super chat and says, any tips for filling in my GRG? That is Grocery Row Garden, for those of you that don't know the nomenclature. I feel like the infrastructure is there, but I'm not planting annuals densely enough. Maybe square foot gardening. You could definitely do that. You know, what I tend to do is if I have gaps in it, is I just stick more plants in. I go and I'm always starting transplants. Like I've got pepper transplants started in flats. I just go and stick a bunch of them in. I will take cuttings off of my sweet potato vines and stick them into the gaps. Sometimes I'll just rake an area up and I'll sprinkle seeds across it and fill it in. Sometimes when I'm really not sure what to do and it's getting hot, I'll just clear an area in there and I'll take a bag of black-eyed peas and throw them down it and just let the whole thing get covered with black-eyed peas, which I can cut down later and plant into. But there's nothing wrong with borrowing square foot gardening spacing. It's just that Square foot gardening requires very high quality soil, and it also often requires a lot of water. And if you're grocery row gardening like I'm grocery row gardening, I want to plant stuff a little wider because I don't water it except very occasionally if I really am just trying to get something started. I generally don't irrigate the grocery row garden. I rely on the rainfall. So that's my 2 cents on it. If there's a gap, just stick something in it. If it's a gap and you're really not sure what to stick in it, sprinkle some seeds on it or throw some black-eyed peas or mung beans or something that's a nitrogen fixer to fill in the space while you think about it. So you have some life on the ground, you get that extra nitrogen, you get the sugars pumped into the ground. Sue says, my husband used to say the sun shines for everyone. He opened a car repair shop in between 2 other shops. He did really good there. Always busy. That's right. And you know, you're not competing with everybody else, or you're not trying to do anything novel necessarily. It's just when you're in business, if you're in business for yourself, if you're honest and you do your best, you're not really competing with other people. You're competing with yourself to see how much better you could do tomorrow than you did today. It's fun. Bobbert, thank you very much. Bobbert sends a $2 super chat, says, have fun at Scrubfest. I always do. I'm always so psyched at Scrubfest. I meet so many cool people, and some of the people have been coming every year now, and I love that. I love seeing people again, and I like hearing the success stories of their food forests and their gardens. It's really well suited to anybody that is probably coming from about zone 6 all the way down to zone 10 or so. So Feet and Liberty says, but I thought you had to have a $500 irrigation system to even think about growing food. Yeah, I know it seems kinda crazy, but there's this thing called rain, and if it falls on you and you can keep it around, you're good. Tomato grown in a 5-gallon bucket will still taste 10 times better than anything you would ever get from the store. Watery, washed out tomatoes sprayed with stuff that you don't want to eat. There, watery, washed out tomatoes sprayed with stuff that you just don't want to eat. So get yourself a frosting bucket, throw some dirt inside and plant some seeds. Even if you use some chemical fertilizer, it'd still be better than 7 dust and malathion. It'll be 10 times better than anything you get from the store. Am I a bad person for using BT on my corn? Yes, you should be ashamed of yourself. You should give up gardening and shoot yourself to the moon. Actually, Bacillium thuringiensis is a natural thing, so I guess it's fine. Whatever gets you food out of the backyard. People lend me your ears. Oh, here we go. And advice for ants. A lover, a large candlestick, cassia, and a large crepe myrtle. Some ants have spread to my double Mahoy banana plant. Oh, those ants are tearing everything apart. Often the ants are attracted by blooms that have some sweetness deep inside. Or often the ants are attracted to aphids and they drink the junk that comes from their backsides. And that's why they're there. That's why they find your plant so very attractive. If you take some Vaseline and you put a ring around the bottom of a tree, and there's no way for the weeds to touch the trunk above that weird little ring of petroleum distillate that you put around the tree, the ants can't pass it, and for a time it becomes a barrier that they can't find a way around. That's sort of a redneck trick. Alternately, you can pour gasoline all around your yard and light it on fire, but then you won't have anything at all. Thank you. By the way, do you guys have, any of you have this book, for those of you that are in Florida? The Create Your Own Florida Food Forest. This stream has been sponsored by David the Good, author of Create Your Own Florida Food Forest. If you don't have this book, this is good for zones 8, 9, 10, and 11. And it is very heavily illustrated. Lots of very interesting plant species in it and cultivation notes. This is, okay, so you guys probably know the big food forest books. I think I might have one of them in here. Let me see if I have them in here. Take a look. Do I still have it in here? Yeah, here we go. Alright, here we go. Knock all my books over. Edible Forest Gardens. Here's the Encyclopedia Galactica of Forest Gardens. This is like the Death Star of Forest Gardens. This is one volume. There's 2 volumes. It costs like $100, and it's ridiculously complicated. It's very, very academic, and it's about how you could plan your food forest out for the next 500 years. And it has like charts like this in it. I read it. My book has lots of pictures. This is the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy version of creating a food forest. It's don't panic. Don't panic. You can plant a food forest. You can plant a food forest, and it's got cute drawings in it. It's got actually over 150 illustrations. I had volunteer illustrators, over 52 illustrators. And we even had some kids illustrate parts of it, which is pretty funny. There's a couple of kids drawings in here. Kids sent me pictures. I'm like, it's going in, because we can do this if we want to. There's nothing that says we can't put kids drawings in books. They're better than some of the adults, so I gotta see if I can find it. It's pretty good. But anyhow, this is my great big fat food forest book, but it's the Don't Panic version of it. Okay, this is a great one. I like this one. That's by Tom Sensible. You have your dog patrolling the orchard, right? It's a good idea. Yeah, it's look at this one. This is cool. Aki. Isn't it a weird fruit? I love that. I love that. So many different good artists too contributed to this. Look at this one. This lady is a wonderful illustrator. So anyhow, yeah, if you guys don't have the Create Your Own Florida Food Forest. It is on Amazon, and I think you can order it from any other bookstore. If you guys don't want to shop on Amazon, every once in a while I get somebody to say that they don't want to shop on Amazon, which I understand. It happens. It happens that people don't want to shop on Amazon, so I try to have distribution elsewhere. So, salve. So, acai. I can't say that. Acai. Acai. Yeah, David's book is for hobbits, not elves. That's right. Create Your Own Florida Food Forest. There's a link too. That's how I keep my family fed. Actually, I keep my family fed from my garden, but that's how we buy toilet paper and mustard. I haven't grown enough mustard yet. Yeah, that's right. Oh, I totally agree. You buy the books. You buy books now. I have a library. At some point, I should just take a picture of my library and post it. I don't think my library is that impressive, but it's more library than most people have. So, I'm a big fan of physical books because right now people are just going, "Hey, ChatGPT, tell me about whatever." Well, it doesn't take much to take that offline or to get that information corrupted. So I like to buy gardening books from people that I appreciate, books on various skills, books on tying knots, things like that. It's useful. So Bradford Homestead says, David, I was gifted a ginkgo tree and I'm trying to think of the best time to put it in the ground. I would plant it this fall. I would plant it after the heat of summer. Aaron says, I think my watermelon has got sunburn, or is it bad? Does my watermelon have sunburn, or is it bad? SPF 50 needs to be applied every day when it's rainy, or your watermelons will get sunburned, then they'll probably get carcinoma. I've had good watermelons that had evidence of sunburn. The sun is awfully hot on that tender green skin. Generally, if there's a nice yellow spot on the bottom of the melon, and if the tendril closest to the stem has curled up and is totally brown, it's ripe, so pick it. If it's not right, don't sue me. I'm just this guy on YouTube. Be sure to talk to your doctor watermelon before taking any health advice about watermelons. Side effects of watermelons may include excessive urination. Okay, no, that's stop, guys. That's enough. So, okay, it was brown, so I picked it. Okay, well, if it's that brown, it may not be good. Just open it right away. It's not going to get more ripe, it'll get worse. So just open it and see. You pick the tendril. Open it right now, Aaron. I can't take the pressure. Please open it before the end of the stream so we know if it's all right. I might get melanoma. I might get melanoma. It might be it might get melanoma. That's German for a melon's grandmother. Now we're all waiting on Aaron. Let's see, here we go. Everybody in the chat is waiting. Aaron's coming back, we hope. He's gonna let us know if his watermelon is totally ruined, or if maybe it just got a little bit burned, but inside it's safely pink. nasty or rotten or filled with grubs. Let's hope he doesn't poke his knife into it and have it explode. I've had that happen before. Blows right up because it's fermented. Come on, Aaron. He's gonna report back in on his watermelon. Ooh. Oh, yes! It's dark red inside. Full. Alright, what's it taste like? Full of what? Full of grubs. Is it full of oil? Is it full of zest? It's full of sweet. It's full of sweet. Okay, I'm good. Good job, Aaron. Congratulations. Very good. Grubs. Grubmelon is my new band name. Oh, Grubmelon, they did that great song. Yeah. Oh. Grubmelon's first record, Tender Vines. Tastes good. Alright, great. Grubmelon used to play in the garage in Seattle. Delectable sweet red melons, Grubmelons. Yep. Well, guys, that's been fun. I don't think we need to get hung up on whether or not we're good enough to start a food forest, or we have land to start a food forest, or we have money to start a food forest. You can start a food forest. Anyone can grow a food forest. Not a big deal. Grunge melon. It's pretty good. Hey, congratulations, Aaron. That's really great. Isn't it a good feeling to grow your own food? I mean, I'll tell you what. Some of the stuff we grow doesn't look pretty, but we eat it, and we enjoy it. We grew it ourselves. Can you sing a Japanese beetle exorcism? Go out there into the garden and put some holy water in your pump sprayer and just go spray it. Chase those things out. Oh my goodness. Yeah, is it safe to assume said melon was grown using David's patented melon pits? And everyone should buy his books to achieve Aaron's levels of success. Would you like to be like Aaron? Would you like to grow your own melon? Buy whatever book I'm currently promoting in this stream, which happens to be this one, and it's not related to watermelons, but it'll help you. So hopefully, I hope that I'll see a lot of you guys at Scrubfest. Be sure to check out the Scrubfest link. It is an awesome event. It's so much fun. And I think that part of the best part of it is the community and the excitement and the knowledge and, of course, the rare plants. I really enjoy meeting people, and I try to talk with every single person that wants to talk to me there. I often get to talk to people that I know by name for years, but I haven't seen them, so never seen in person. So I hope that y'all will be there. Carolyn's been there. I think you've been at every single one, haven't you, Carolyn? Carolyn's my gardening sister. She's very inspiring to me, and I once gave a gardening talk in her backyard 10 years ago, probably more than that, maybe more than 10 years ago. It was a blast. I loved it. Yeah, that's right. Last year, I think you were there at one of our spring events instead. So, October 11th. Yeah, Carl, man, I would love to have you there. You always get such great comments and insight. It would be fun to have you there. And of course, if anybody is in my school group too, remember that you can get in. You don't have to buy tickets, so just leave like, just come into the school group and just let me know that you're going to be there. So either way, you can. The nice thing about the school group is that's where I've got the Start a Food Forest the Easy Way course and a lot of other stuff, and I help people figure their gardens out there. But if you can just make it to Scrubfest, you're gonna love that too. So anyhow, whatever you can do, whatever you can manage, whatever works for you. It's just I like spending money on books, and I like spending money on education, and I also do like events at nurseries, so I don't have any problem spending money on that. So 2019, okay, so it's not been as long as I thought. It's six years. That's so funny. That was great. I saw the video of that talk. I think I actually put the video of that talk up on, I might have put it up in the classroom on school. So I hope to see you all there. Don't give up. Go out and plant a food forest. Remember that the external stuff is not so important. Your mindset is going to help you more than anything. You can plant a food forest. Anybody can grow a food forest. So y'all have a great rest of the evening. God bless you. And hopefully I'll see some of you in person soon. And until next time, may your thumbs always be green.